9D, you guys killed at the city treasurer office, and now I don't understand. I read the paper here on 9D. What is it all about? What are the new directions? It was obvious 2 years ago, you guys were going to kill out the city treasurer department, and you voted after she was elected for minute minimum wages and benefits for her. So I don't know what is 9D all about right now, but if you try to discontinue the Treasury Department office as an elected office, you are the most disgusting people. You did not discontinue Pat Surrey when he was elected illegally. And all of you who sit up there voted against the city treasurer. Remember that. You killed the Treasury Department, and you made the treasurer stay away. Now 8E, you guys paying $390,000 again for some consulting service BS. So what are we paying our highly overpaid staff? Why do we need consulting services for every bit or everything they do? This is just unbelievable for me. Anyway, back to the treasurer, you did your very disgusting things already. What else you want to do to her? What else you want to do to her and to the taxpayers? Take away an elected office? Or what is this all about? Please let me know, because I don't understand it. All right, thank you for your input. See you guys at the next meeting. Bye-bye.
Mayor, that caller disconnected himself. Moving on to the next caller. BJ, you are now unmuted. Can you please state what agenda item you're calling on?
6A, 6B, and oral communications.
Thank you. Your 3 minutes starts now.
So let me just address you clowns of council members that should just be labeled as Klan members. Black Lives Matter, defund the police and police associations, and say his name, Christopher DeAndre Mitchell. My name's BJ, and I'm an Angelino that stands in solidarity with the family of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, and especially with his mother, Miss Sherilyn. It goes beyond stating how disappointing it is to have to be here week after week, trying to just encourage you to be more transformative and critical thinkers at the same time. We're all adults here. You guys somehow have careers, still in jobs, but I don't really understand how you could sleep at night knowing that you won't even do the bare minimum to set a better example for your community, for your constituents, for not only those that voted for you, but also for future generations to come. But instead of that, you decide that you just want to buy in to white supremacy, capitalism, and traditional notions of justice and law and order. It's disgusting, horrible. I say that because there's going to be a time when Ms. Sherilyn will see the justice she deserves. That includes the firing of Anthony Chavez and Matthew Concannon, as well as the creation of a civilian oversight committee, which should have happened years ago. And I just want to read a couple things from a very wise individual known as Minister Malcolm X about what I think you guys have to be putting up with right now. Moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue, end quote. This is why we will continue to vote and organize, continue to be here unapologetically taking up space and condemning your cowardice and abdication of your duty, not just as politicians, but as human beings in a community of diverse individuals. Because you seem to forget that Black Lives Matter. You seem to forget that there are actions that can be taken for justice to remedy the evil that you are a part of. As an attorney, I can see that every day. But this leads me to another thing that Malcolm X wisely said. I believe in brotherhood of all men, but I don't believe in brotherhood with anybody who is not willing to practice brotherhood with our people. And that's what this continues to be. From the silence to saying Christopher DeAndre Mitchell's name, trash-faced Matucci mouthing no to Pat Fury, not willing to show his face. It's just entirely disrespectful, especially when you put a baton to Miss Sherilyn's neck. But we revolutionarily love her and will support her and continue to say Christopher DeAndre.
Mayor, that caller was disconnected because his time was up. Moving on to the next caller. Marilyn D, you are now unmuted. Can you please state what agenda item you're calling on?
Oral communications in 6D.
Thank you. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Your strategic plan and vision statement harkens me back to January 2019 when I first showed up to support the family of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, specifically his mother Sherilyn, and to advocate for justice in his name. That committee needs to consider this. Over the next few months, we brought literature, reflective questions, compelling arguments about how our demands made sense in an attempt to help this mayor and the city council to understand why this response was expected of a governing body that shows up in accountability for its constituents. And then we were met with, at first, soft dismissal, then a flat official dismissal by being taken off the agenda, and a clear body language that said that you all were not listening, and snarky comments after we spoke. And then we were met with violence from you, commanded by you, Mayor Fury, as we heard through your angrily twisted up voice and your revealed weakness. So you turned your cameras off and deployed Torrance Police Department in full riot gear on us in the chambers because, and in response to, our chanting Christopher's name 3 times. Any one of us standing up in the aisles to stretch, speaking overtime for a few seconds. When one of us cleared our throats while you were speaking. Egads, seriously, I can't even recall the number of all of your excuses. And I was there for nearly every meeting and met by batons. And our message has not changed. We are not going anywhere, obviously. This committee should consider this.
Mayor, that caller was disconnected because our time was up. Moving on to the next caller. Rocky M, you are now unmuted. Can you please state what agenda item you're calling on?
Oral communications.
Thank you. Your 1 minute starts now.
All right. So it's another week, it's another day, it's another minute, and you've somehow continued to piss off the public. If your only desire is to perpetuate violence against black people, then what are you doing? Like, if that desire is so strong that it can't be stronger than the desire to relieve yourselves of these kinds of calls and emails week after week, then you have a serious issue. But until you can solve that issue, we're going to continue to demand that you prosecute and fire Anthony Chavez and Matthew Concannon for the murder of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell. And we're going to continue to demand that you create a civilian oversight commission for the Torrance Police Department in order to review Christopher's case and all the instances of police misconduct by the Torrance PD. The public will not stop fighting until justice is brought for the family of Christopher DeAndre.
Mayor, that caller was disconnected because our time was up. Moving on to the next caller. Stephanie P., you are now unmuted. Can you please state what agenda item you're calling on?
Oral communications.
Thank you. Your 1 minute starts now.
Like so many of my friends before me, I call in week after week after week, and we say the same things, and you do nothing. I'm just going to run through the bullet points today. Black Lives Matter. Christopher's life mattered. Christopher should be here today. He was murdered by Matthew Concannon and Anthony Chavez. You need to fire Matthew Concannon and Anthony Chavez. Establish a civilian oversight committee. There has to be some accountability in the city of Torrance. Defund the police. Again, Black Lives Matter and Christopher's life mattered. We will not stop fighting. I stand with Cheryl and Haynes. Y'all need to step up and do something. Do something besides just patting yourselves on the back and being racist and white supremacists. Do something.
Mayor, that caller was disconnected because her time was up. Moving on to the next caller. Carolyn, you are now unmuted. Can you please state what agenda item you're calling on?
Oral communication.
Thank you. Your 1 minute starts now.
Another day, another hour, another minute, another second, living without my son. I demand justice in the name of my son, Christopher DeAndre Mitchell. My son posed no threat, and he was murdered within 15 seconds. He did exactly what the officers told him to do. He did not have a gun. He did everything he was supposed to do, but they still murdered him. Why did they turn the light off and then shoot my son? What was the point of that? I didn't understand. What was the point of even killing him anyway? You could have used different measures instead of stealing my son's life. Why, and why? He'll never tell me, I know. He was too trigger happy. He wanted to murder my son. You prejudged him. You didn't have to. You could have resumed to not even come into the car, period, and stay behind the car like you should have did.
Mayor, that caller was disconnected because her time was up. Moving on to the next caller. Adam S., you are now unmuted. Can you please state what agenda item you're calling on?
Oral communication.
Thank you. Your 1 minute starts now.
I would just say that it's a goddamn shame that you would ever cut Miss Sherilyn's mic on any of these calls. Calling first and foremost to send love to Miss Sherilyn Haynes and call for justice for her son Christopher. You must fire Matthew Concannon and Anthony Chavez. All the goddamn blue ribbons on all the goddamn oak trees in Torrance can't blue wash the fact that Anthony Chavez and Matthew Concannon murdered Christopher DeAndre Mitchell. And you all on the city council are complicit in that. You all are actively contributing to an unimaginable pain of a mother who will never stop fighting for her son, and with a community of people behind her that will never stop fighting. If your child were killed by police, how hard would you fight? What would your demand for justice look like? What would you demand of your city council? Fire Matthew Concannon and Anthony Chavez.
Mayor, that caller was disconnected because his time was up. Moving on to the next caller. Anthony L., you are now unmuted. Can you please state what agenda item you're calling on?
Yes, hi. I'm calling for 6B, 8B, and general comment.
Thank you. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay, yes, for 6B, I understand that you just recognized the Asian Pacific Islander, and it's all fine and dandy, and we have Black History Month, we have Hispanic, whatever. In all my years in the United States, I came from Thailand. I have yet to see one called European Heritage or something like that. I think we celebrate 4th of July as a country in America. Anything for European, maybe we should have one. Anyway, second one is about the elect 8B, but for everything that, we want to get rid of fossil fuel and go to